揽投资国内专业的互联网理财平台，收益超银行活期数倍，已为众多用户带来丰厚收益。揽投资理财新选择，
源于民族之心，兴于品质之巅，成于健康之路，有爱有缘有三元。
财新时间由三元乳业联合冠名播出。
9月20号早上9点，北京建国门瑞吉酒店10层一间看似普通的房间门口，财新传媒总编辑胡舒丽和主编王硕一行按下了门铃。稍等片刻，开门的正是新闻集团执行董事长默多克本人。这位84岁的全球最大传媒帝国的掌门人，精神矍铄，笑容温和，握手非常有力。他将在这里接受财新时间的专访，这也是他相当长时间以来接受的第1次专访。我们进门之后发现，这是一组普通套房当中的会客厅，而默多克在开门之后又坐回到书桌边阅读他的平板电脑。默多克几乎每年都会来中国，而他这次中国行更具特殊意义。在即将对美国展开第1次国事访问的前夕，中国国家主席习近平在人民大会堂会见了默多克，并且接受了新闻集团旗下《华尔街日报》的书面专访。而这次默多克接受财新时间专访，话题就从他与习近平主席的会面开始。
What's your impression about Xi Jinping, the president?
Well, he's a very impressive man, very powerful, and very thoughtful. He's clearly thinking a lot about his visit to the United States and to Europe. And it's very important that the world learns more about China and what it's thinking about. Well, I think, China is getting stronger and stronger. Although I come from different countries, I'm really an American now, and I'd see it very largely through American eyes. I think we have a lot to do to get to understand each other better. We have to understand that, for the last 100 years, the United States has been the preeminent power in the world. Ever since the British Empire went bankrupt in the First World War 100 years ago, America has emerged. And now America has to get used to another great power. Not necessarily a greater one, but another great power. So there's a lot of adjustment and a lot of understanding of each other's different civilizations, our different histories. So there's a great deal of work to be done, starting with our leaders.
对于中美关系这一世界上最重要的双边关系而言，今年是多事之年。中国步入改革深水区，美国进入竞选周期。从网络安全到南海问题，双方纷争不断。两国外交界和学界都有观点认为，双边关系正处于相对消极的时期。对此，默多克持有不同意见。
But we heard the mood over U.S. and China relationship in the States are very negative now, isn't it?
No, I don't think so. I think, as I said, they have to get used to the idea that China is emerging as a great power. But this is a bad time. We have an election in America, and you don't want to take any notice. All the people vying to be nominees want to look very tough. You go through that, then they become nominees, they talk a little more seriously, and then they become elected, and reality sets in. So you go through phases. These are the phases, the early phases we should not take too much notice.
习奥会之后，外界关注的焦点之一就是中美双边投资协定 BIT 能否推动两国经贸往来更进一步。这一两国当前经贸领域最重大的谈判项目已经历时7年，其意义堪比世纪之交中国入市。在默多克看来，中美贸易关系需要进一步推动，而中国也需要相应的法规，使人们能更有信心在华投资。
What is your take on the current bilateral relationship negotiation, BIT?
Well, I think we must push ahead with more trade. But in the past, we've had a lot of welcoming the idea of Western investment in China. Now there are signs that it's getting a little more difficult. I believe that both countries should be open. I notice we're having trouble in Australia now, my own country, and in America about Chinese investors in a large way, industries there. But equally, it should be easier for Western countries to invest in this country. And there should be a very clear rule of law, so they know how to behave. There is in America, there is in Australia, there are very clear laws. We need those clear laws here so that people can invest here with confidence. Both countries will gain from that.
There are so many difficult issues between U.S. and China, and one of them is high-tech export to China of the United States, which Chinese government has been demanding for a long time. So, in your view, do you think that will happen?
Yeah, it has to go both ways. We want there's a lot of great high tech in America that should be coming here, and vice versa. But people are very, very sensitive of security. Could things be planted in high tech that can be used later? It's certainly possible. And until we get rid of suspicions and get more trust between the two countries, that will be a problem.
中美近来在网络安全问题上平起波澜，美国多次指责中国黑客攻击，而中国则否认美方的指控。对于颇多争议的中美网络安全问题，默多克认为这个问题被夸大了，应当把政府行为与公司和个人行为分别对待。
Cybersecurity is another difficult issue. Do you worry that this issue will worsen the bilateral relation even further?
No, I don't think there's any serious issue between China and America. Neither wants to have a war. Neither. Cybersecurity, yes, I think it's exaggerated. We don't really know how much is done by governments. Clearly, the intelligence services of all countries, including America, are active in this area. But I think the cybersecurity, when it comes to individual companies, individual people, hacking into intellectual property, stealing it, that has got to be stopped. There has to be a clear understanding about that. China now, as it's developing, is getting very jealous of its own intellectual property. And it doesn't want it stolen by Americans or Europeans or who are able to do this. So it's got to work both ways.
美国选战热度愈演愈烈，在初选阶段，一些对外交政策不甚熟悉的候选人，往往选择走极端，通过炮轰中国来取悦基层选民，提振支持率。前总统里根和克林顿竞选的时候，都曾经批评中国，但他们就职后都采取务实态度与中国合作。在默多克看来，中美关系不会被选举政治所绑架。
There is a presidential election campaign going on right now in the United States. Do you think that the bilateral relationship between China and the United States would be held hostage by the campaign rhetoric?
No, I think it's just rhetoric. I think it'll pass. This is always the case. We have a lot of candidates now because they feel that there will be a change of administration, and so they're all trying to get into it, and they're all trying to see who's the toughest guy. But, once all that's gone, they'll be more sensible.
Would you be comfortable endorsing any of these candidates?
I think there are a lot of very good candidates, but we try not to endorse. We don't endorse at this stage at all. When it's worked out, there's one on either side, then maybe.
与中美关系暗云低垂相比，中英关系可谓艳阳普照。习近平将于10月对英国进行国事访问。中国外长王毅此前曾表示，习近平这次访问将为中英关系黄金时代拉开序幕。称得上是英国政治局内人的默德克表示，英国对习近平的访问非常非常热情。
After visiting the United States, President Xi will go to UK. Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi said this visit will start a golden era for China-UK relationship. How do you think of it?
Well, I know this firsthand. The UK is very, very enthusiastic. And I would be very surprised if it's not a really, really good one. We don't have the difficulties between China and UK that there are with America.
自早年在澳大利亚继承父亲的报业起家，报纸在默多克传媒帝国的版图上有着举足轻重的地位。从创办澳大利亚第一份全国性报纸《澳大利亚人报》，到接手英国小报《世界新闻报》《太阳报》和有着200多年历史的《泰晤士报》，再到进军美国市场，一举拿下《华尔街日报》。时至今日，报纸对于默多克来说仍然具有特殊的意义。
I just want to ask you, you have so many media platforms. Which one do you like mostly, newspapers or TV?
Oh, I like them all. I was brought up on newspapers. I love newspapers. I love old-fashioned newspapers. But today, I read them on the internet because of time. In New York, I read the morning papers, and I read the London papers on my iPad, and so that's no problem. But entertainment is very, very important. With the broadband coming, everything is changing. People are now spending 4 or 5 hours on their iPhones, their smartphones, which is they're changing the world totally. But I find with my young children, they're on their iPhones while they're watching television. They're doing 2 things at once, and that is very, very common. But the idea of interchange of ideas between people, you can't forget some of the bad things that can be done with interchange around the world. But the fact is we now have 2.5 billion people with smartphones, with access to knowledge all over the world, with access to each other. Government is going to change, the world is going to change, and it's going to change very fast. We've only had smartphones for 8 years. And we have 2.5 billion. Another 8 years, we'll have 5 billion. The whole world will be on it. They will do their business differently. They will talk to each other. Their families will be different. Everything will change.
Do you think in 10 years or 20 years, are there still newspapers for younger generation?
No, I think it's a problem. With young people, we find that the people who start reading newspapers are very often in their 30s. When they get married, they have children, they settle down. They have to take more serious concern of what's going around them. And yes, we cannot deny that the average age of newspaper reading has gone up. Not the average age of reading news. People read a lot of news on the internet, young people. But it's very quick, it's very fast.
How has the Wall Street Journal going since you acquired it?
Very well. The circulation is solid, the advertising is solid. We make profits. We believe that it's a better paper. We keep all it every day. How can we improve the paper? How can we get better reporting? How can we cover important things in the world? That's the beauty of a newspaper. It is something you try to improve every single day.
在默多克手中，《华尔街日报》的编辑部搬出了华尔街，并入驻新闻集团在纽约中城的总部。报道风格和内容都出现了变化，文章长度变短，新闻标题更具吸引力，报道范围也从商业扩展到包括突发和政治在内的综合内容。
Since News Corp bought Wall Street Journal, the paper expanded into general news. Why and how do you think of it?
Well, we're very careful that all our news pages, what we call news pages, whether it's world or about technology or anything else, are absolutely objective. It's exactly what we feel is the truth that's going on. Then we have 3 pages in which we express opinions. And we have, leading people from all over the world, writing articles, arguing with each other about what should be happening in the world. We have our own opinions in that. And that's a very, very strong part of the paper. But it is separate from the news. Opinions and news are kept apart. Well, we feel there's a big opportunity there. We think a lot of the more general newspapers who've had a big reputation have failed. They're cutting back a lot. And they're also very politicized. We feel there's room for really strong, comprehensive world news. Now, of course, mixed in that is a lot of important business news. There are great things going on in the world between different industries, and it's affecting everybody. So that's all mixed up in the news.
The Wall Street Journal has just expanded the size of its European newspapers and Asian newspapers. Why?
Well, we always felt that the Asian Wall Street Journal was a small paper and didn't do well justice to the paper we're most proud of, which is the one in America. So now we're trying to make it the same everywhere. And we think that'll do very well.
面对经济危机冲击和网络时代的来临，默多克式的大众化线路让《华尔街日报》表现依然亮眼。默多克对此也很满意。在他看来，《华尔街日报》已经找到了自身可持续的成功模式，应对住了报业在互联网时代的挑战，将传统媒体和新媒体整合起来。
The newspaper industry is still facing very big challenge through internet everywhere. So do you think that Wall Street Journal has already come over the challenges and find the models to go sustainably?
Absolutely. We think the journal has overcome that and will go on to from strength to strength. The more popular newspapers that deal in commodity news, everybody knows about celebrities and things, I think they have more difficulty. But they can, a lot of them can live on advertising. There are some now that are selling, are being viewed on the internet by 100 million people a year around the world. And they live on advertising. I don't think they get rich, but they do exist.
How to integrate newspapers or traditional legacy brands with new digital media? How to integrate them together?
I think it's a question of quality. If newspapers have opinions, if they're really well written, if they're very reliable, people will pay for them and they're viable. We find with the Wall Street Journal that our circulation has not suffered at all, and in fact the digital version has gone through the roof. So now instead of having 1.5 million who buy the paper, we have 2.5 million reading it all every day and paying for it.
Does newspaper have a future in the mobile internet?
Oh, absolutely. You'll have newspapers on the internet which are so good people will pay for. There are other people who just steal things and rewrite them and put them out, like Google, and they're not as reliable at all.
50年来，默多克通过无数次的收购，重塑了自己的媒体帝国，但是在社交媒体上的表现却差强人意。2005年，新闻集团以6亿美元买入 MySpace， 但到2011年又以3500万美元的价格出售。尽管进军社交媒体受挫，默多克还是看到了社交媒体崛起的不可忽视。他不时在个人 Twitter 账号上语出惊人，而这次来华更是开通了新浪微博，短短几天粉丝数万。
People would argue that the newspaper are losing the power of setting agenda to the social media, which is crucial to newspaper. Do you agree?
Oh, I think the newspapers do, but there's no question of the power of social media, which can be abused very badly. We see how the Muslims with ISIS very cleverly using it to recruit terrorists to come and kill people.
It's a powerful tool.
That is a powerful tool. Equally, it can be used in other ways. We see, even in America, people standing for election use the internet a great deal in spreading their message. But that's just the world getting more complicated, more interesting, and going ahead faster. If people are exchanging ideas faster, then you have faster innovation. The world, we've seen incredible innovation in the world in the last 10 or 15 years. It was in America, it's now coming very fast in China, and you're going to find that to go twice as fast in the next 10 years.
Financial Times was sold out recently. What's your comments on that?
So we're very happy about that.